and they did some dreadful things in Nigeria where they were in May, is it's actually very bad for the royal family, because some people aren't going to say, well, they're not actually royal, but they're sort of royal. They don't know where they are.
Okay, I'm listening. You have my attention.
So I thought, they shouldn't have gone. The other thing, talking about Parents Network and saying, oh, their children are so wonderful, so lovely. Why are they leaving them all the time to go, and specifically this place, going to one of the most dangerous countries in the world? If they really cared, why are they going? What are they going to do there? Why are they there? It's just extraordinary. So what I expect is that
Hey, y'all, come look at this.
Meghan would have a whole load of expensive dresses. She'll be smiling and very nice. They speak Spanish there, and she's allegedly a very good speaker of Spanish.
Fact.
And for me, I think we'll see more of Harry with a miserable face, because he won't know what on earth's being said or done, and he will be left behind. I can't imagine her telling him, saying, let me just tell Harry this.
Okay.
Let me just tell Harry this. It's not happening, is it? But speaking in the language there is a very good way of being friendly. So the idea is that they look at people, children, teenagers, adults, all sorts of ages and all sorts of types. And the idea, which people say, is that they want to improve their brand, and in Colombia they want to improve
What?
their brand. It's a Labour Party that's running the country, and it's going down the drain because it's being so hopeless. And there's been a lot of fighting.
Are you serious?
And murdering and stealing and all these things. So they think that if they get two glamorous people, it will sort of boost them up. So I think that's the idea of it, that they're both going to take something out of it, but it's not a good place to be, and it's a pointless place to be. What are they doing? The other thing is, though,
Wait for it.
that I think Meghan will want to do this to show that she could be a much better royal than the royals in the UK. I mean, she's yearned for this so much. She wants them to know that she's a sort of global guru.
Are you serious?
And this will, help anybody, and she can handle anything. But she can't. And the vice president, who is taking them round in her own helicopter, is also black, the first black who is a vice president. And she's delighted that Meghan would be there. She thinks it's absolutely wonderful. And they can talk very familiar.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
During the time. But when they go off to certain areas, it's going to be really, really dangerous. So they're going to have a load of people supporting them and looking after them.
Paid for by Colombian taxpayers,
Yeah,
by
exactly
the way.
Paid for by the people, taxpayer.
Who might not be that happy about their money being
won't.
spent in a poverty-stricken company on Harry and Meghan's security. The other thing is, Angela, you talk about the government going downhill, and there's been loads of scandals involving this Colombian government, including with the president. So isn't there the risk that Harry and Meghan are just being used as political pawns here?
Very good question.
And they've made themselves vulnerable as a result.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I meant, really. You've expressed it very well. Thank you. Just that they will be used so that when they go there and they show photographs of them around the world, they will think, everyone will think that we're fine and it's safe and we're wonderful because look who we've got here. I think it's going to be a very, very difficult meeting, particularly as they won't have a chief of staff there.
I know. Fact. Because he has been dispensed of. You can just imagine them, couldn't you, in medieval times, them just locking all of these former staff members who don't appease their every whim in the tower.
Okay.
Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please do subscribe if you want lots more clips and interviews like that. Plus, if you want to watch our totally uncensored after show.
Now, lots of you have been sending in your thoughts, and a lot of you are actually getting quite excited about our next subject. We haven't even started talking about it yet.
Okay.
Harry, Prince Harry, we're talking about, would you have Harry back with open arms? And this is Ian. Hi, Ian. Harry is unfortunately not well. He's an emotional wreck. Damn! Far too high risk for our country. Never mind the royal family. Well, would you trust me if it was your brother? Has to be said. Okay, and call me old-fashioned. This is Ian. Call me old-fashioned, but talking tickets for big gigs. Let's go back to the old ticket box office. If I was more guaranteed of a ticket, I would queue up for hours knowing not to get ripped. Ian, you actually took the words out of my mouth. I remember when I was younger, queuing up for hours for West Ham tickets. I'm not sad. But at least I got the ticket. It was my ticket. They knew it was me, and there were no touts involved. The system now is ridiculous. People were hanging on for hours just saying, look, it's not about Oasis. We're broadening it out. Just want all your ticket stories in here. Oh, and David. Hi, David. I could listen to Ben Habib all day.
That's very kind of David.
Do you know someone called David? Your brother or something or other? And
I've left my Uncle David at Lord's at the cricket in order to be here.
That doesn't make sense.
And all we get is compliments for Ben Habib. I'm going to leave.
Okay, right. Do you want me to read some of yours out? No, you probably don't. And meanwhile, Brits Forever says Harry can stay away. He was so quick to condemn this country as racist and to trash the Queen and royal family's reputations. He should be banished and his titles removed. He has not earned the right to call himself anything with a royal title. Ooh, passionate.
Me personally, I wouldn't take this level of disrespect.
Okay, you can join in. It's very easy. gbnews.com/your say. Now, we are actually going to move on to discussing the story that's got you so aerated already. Harry. Sources close to him, it's always sources, are suggesting that he is asking for help as he bids to make a return to the UK.
It's be about time.
Since moving to the US with Meghan, the American dream has had a number of issues for him, I think it's fair to say. But if Harry was to return, would he be welcome? And could he make it up with William? Look, if Oasis, sorry I said the O word, have done it, can William and Harry? Let's talk to our royal expert, commentator, Richard Fitzwilliams. Richard, hello.
Hello.
There you are. Lovely. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon, Richard. Now, this story is in the Mail on Sunday. They have to have a royal story, and it does well for them, I know. But evidently, Prince Harry is seeking advice from his trusted former aides and close friends about how he can re-enter British life without any of us getting very angry, which everybody is.
Well, I think it's going to present a lot of challenges. I mean, I've got to be clear here. When it comes to reconciliation, if it's possible, obviously, to mend the rift with William, clearly that is to be welcomed. But as for Harry returning, what precisely would that mean? I mean, he turned up at Lord Fellowes' memorial service, and people were surprised. This was an exclusive in The Sun. It had not been expected.
Boy.
And also now there are reports that old friends of Harry's are receiving messages from him. And the facts are that there's no doubt at all he's been twice over, and the optics have been very strange. He saw his father for half an hour, and one of them, the moment he heard he had cancer. But on the other hand, the second time, they didn't find time to see each other. That too was rather extraordinary.
Boring.
I mean, what precisely would Harry want? Because if it is in any sense a return to royal duties, you really got to be very, very careful with what you're dealing with, because they ruthlessly betrayed the royal family for years. So if there's any sign of any sort of rapprochement, that's fine with reference to mending a rift.
Okay.
But when it comes to actually being not just quasi-royal, which they've been on tours abroad recently, but actual senior working royals, you've got a lot of problems, and I don't see it.
Are you sure about that?
Richard, just one very quick question. Two flies in this ointment I can see. One's called Meghan and the other one's called William.
Yes, I quite agree. And I think William, well, there are rumours he doesn't want Harry at his future coronation. I mean, that is, of course, looking, I hope, a long way ahead.
What do you mean by that?
But there's no doubt at all they didn't speak in the church, and I think he would be very strongly opposed. So far as Meghan's concerned, I mean, she is based in California. She is, I would have thought, at home in California. If you look at the latest poll, Gallup just a couple of days ago, minus 37%. It's pretty chilly here for her, as she's not much liked. Frankly, she'd been absolutely ruthless, and one wonders what she would get out of it. The point is, would they have their Netflix contract, or will this be renewed next year? What precisely is she doing with her cooking program, the lifestyle brand she wants to launch? All sorts of difficulties and problems. But the facts are, quasi-royal isn't being royal. Maybe they're feeling it.
Come on now, dog.
But as far as the royal family are concerned, for goodness sake, reconciliation, yes, but actual work as a senior working royal is not, in my opinion.
Going to happen. Really, thank you very much. That is Richard Fitzwilliams, royal commentator there on Harry sneaking back into the UK. It's actually, I believe it's called Operation Bring Harry In From the Cold.
So that was a lie.
Well, I've got Ben and Matthew still with me. Oh, yeah, your fan club, Lucia, hi. I could listen to Ben Habib all day too.
Thank you, Lucia.
I'm still not reading yours out, Matthew. Right, Matthew, Harry, Operation Bring Him Back From the Cold. Evidently his mates are trying to get this organised.
I mean, maybe this is irrational, but I've always rather liked Prince Harry.
It's a redhead thing, isn't it?
Well, people used to say he looked a bit like me. I'm older than him.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
I see myself age as he ages. He's losing a bit of hair. I'm going white. But we're both ginger. Yep. I think the interesting thing about... I always think it's quite funny listening to serious people talk seriously about the royals, because it's not that serious, a lot of it. But actually, I think where I'm fascinated by them is that we can sort of see a bit of ourselves as a society and as individuals in their stories writ large.
Okay, I'm listening. You have my attention.
It's the same sort of principle as Shakespearean tragedies and Greek tragedies. You know, in the collapse of the king or in the collapse of the tyrant, we see ourselves reflected back. And I think what's really interesting, if the rumours are to be believed and there really is a feud, say, between Harry and William, and if Harry's relationship with his father, the king, could improve, I think a lot of families up and down the country will see something of their own relationships in that.
Okay.
And if there is truth in those rumours, I hope that they bridge any divides, because life is, as we all know, very short.
It is, yeah.
And brothers can be allies in life, as can sisters, and I would urge them to break bread together again.
Well, it's Harry's 40th birthday this year, isn't it? But I do take issue with one thing. You said, look, we don't take it seriously. We don't really need to take it seriously. Actually, I do take it seriously, because it was Harry and Meghan that branded this country a racist hellhole.
Here we go again. Yeah, I think there are two levels, aren't there, to the rehabilitation of Harry.
That's what it is, isn't it?
Yeah, rehabilitation of Harry to the royal family. There's the familial aspect, which you explained so well, and which we all would share. Why wouldn't you wish brothers to be brotherly and father-son relationship to be whole again? But then there's the whole constitutional... as Richard was saying, you know, make up with the family, fine, but make up with the United Kingdom. Now that's a different issue, because, as you rightly said, he's trashed this country and he trashed the institution of the royal family. So for him to be rehabilitated requires, I think, an explanation for why he said what he said.
Fact.
Quite a degree of humble pie eating, and then creating the confidence in the people of the United Kingdom that he won't do it again. Because we want, ultimately, we want our royal family, as the institution of the royal family, to represent and celebrate all that is British.
Okay.
We don't want them having their public spats.
It's not a soap opera.
I would
It's
just
not.
quickly push back on something there.
Yeah.
This idea that he's trashed the country. Prince Harry has done more for Britain than...
He trashed the institution of the royal
But he's
family.
done, OK, because in your view, he's done more for Britain, I think, than almost anyone I know. He put his life, quite literally, on the line and represented our armed forces in the field.
We do not care.
And he has also done huge amounts of charity work, not just for mental health, which we were talking about earlier, but also for our veterans. So I'm very impressed by a lot that he's done.
That's a ginger thing. Any case, just quickly before we go to the news, Kath, Harry, what he did to our royal family and late Queen, I don't think it'll ever be forgiven. Patricia, Harry must never be forgiven. He has lied about his father, the king, and said unforgivable things.
Bruh, chill.
So you're very much on Team Ben.
Tell us what you
here.
really think.
Very much on Team Ben as opposed to Team Matthew. And you have got such a fan club out there, Ben. Right, unlike you, Matthew.